Okay, welcome back. My name is Cam King. This is Three Questions Podcast. Three Questions Podcast is a short, hard-hitting 10 to 20-minute podcast where I will answer three questions submitted by clients or have a guest on, or they can be randomly submitted by emailing threequestionspodcast@gmail.com or submitting via DM. A lot of times I host these episodes by myself, but I do love to have guests on when available. Either way, I thank you for listening, whether on YouTube or Spotify. No reason to talk about anything else. I like answering all these types of questions, whether it is personal based, professional based, about marketing, sales, business building, coaching, fitness, diet, exercise, anatomy, physiology, conspiracy theories, you name it. Nothing is really off limits with this, but I want to get you guys information as fast as possible, either from my own experiences, not that I'm a guru or know everything, not even close, but I feel like there is a lot of good information that comes out from my coaching calls with clients. And a lot of these questions are derivatives of that, whether the clients themselves submit these or they're questions that I come up with that I feel like I am answering on a regular basis. So without further ado, you should be able to listen to these, 1.5 speed, get a good amount of information in a new frame of reference for your life in about 10 to 15 minutes. So without further ado, let's go reset my timer and hop into question number one for episode number 76. So, have you ever broken off a coaching client relationship? Ooh, uh, I have not. I have not, but I feel like I know when a client no longer needs to be coached and or mentored, and I'm very honest about that. So right now I have a pretty young client out of Miami. I think he's 24, and I'm very impressed by him. And my goal for coaching and for these client sessions is I want to give all of these people enough to the point where they don't need a coach or a mentor for a while. I want to get them to the next plateau. And if they can jump to two plateaus, awesome. But I'm very honest in the fact that I want to give you guys absolutely enough so that you don't need me anymore. So that your understanding of the world, your perspective has changed. You can see more of the mosaic about life, and you really don't feel like you need a coach or a mentor anymore. And that's the whole point, right? If you're getting coaching for a year or two or three, maybe you absolutely love that coach or is helping you with business and they're helping you make a ton of money, which I do, but I generally only really feel like I need to work with people for about 3 to 9 months max. That's probably the average is probably about 6 months. And then if they want to go on their own for about 3 months or 4 months or 6 months and then come back for more because they want to work on a new level of things, I also really like that. But I find that when I meet with people at most bi-weekly, I prefer to meet with people weekly. It's very easy to see their progress and see that they're understanding things because I will go back and I'll quiz them on things, right? Quiz them on keeping their word, becoming better people, having better habits and routines, staying away from vices and addictions, understanding their emotions. And then when we get through all of that, right? Dieting, fitness, exercise, all of that stuff, once they have that on lock, then we can talk about the professional stuff. Then we can talk about manifesting. Then we can talk about having multiple businesses or how to optimize and automate and delegate certain things to the point where they are running companies and getting to the next level of stuff. That's the goal. But you can't be doing all of those things at the top tier, at a executive level tier, if you're still waking up and the first thing that you're doing is checking social media, or if you're still addicted to porn, or if you're having problems with alcohol or with weed. You can't be doing those things that we just talked about. So no, I've never broken off a client coaching relationship, and I don't want to because there's so much there. But I'm very honest about being like, hey man, I think you really only need like 4 or 5 more sessions, right? I think another 3 to 5 sessions would be great for you, and here's why, right? And then I want them to go and start practicing that on their own. If they feel like they're struggling or they're drowning, cool, come on back. We can sort of retool and re-gear things, but I want to train you to not need someone like me. I don't want to be your accountability coach forever. I want you to be your own accountability coach. And I'm very honest and kind of harsh with my clients. I mean, like, dude, you can do this, right? Or with my female clients, they're so empowered. And all I am is just a mirror to help people understand how much power that they actually have, how much autonomy they actually have, right? You're spending a lot of energy focusing on these things that are out of your control. How about we stop going on all of the dating apps trying to find the right person, and instead we just focus on taking care of what we have at home and getting better sleep and filling up our cup and then doing what we authentically want, and then everything else can sort of align to us on the road that we've already built for ourselves. That's it. That's all I'm trying to get people to understand. And I see a lot of people scurrying and running back and forth across the road instead of just walking their path. So No, I've never broken off a client coaching relationship. I don't really get angry or upset. I typically leave all my client sessions for them to talk as much as possible, and I try to inherently guide them to seeing their own power. So that's it. And sometimes some clients are closer than others, and that's really all I need to say about that. So hopping into question number 2 for episode number 76. What is your advice for people who need to overcome fear? This is a good one. So I just watched a content piece the other day talking about fear. And there are so many good quotes about fear, but the best one I've ever heard was from George Clooney. It's in some movie. And he talks about fear and courage in the quote. And I'm gonna butcher the hell out of it. So please excuse me. But George Clooney talks about how you get courage. And he says, you never get courage before you do the thing, right? You get courage after you do the thing that you're absolutely terrified about. Courage comes after. Okay. And whether you're jumping out of a plane or whether you're doing something incredibly scary, or whether you're just fearful of that thing, you have to understand number one, fear is a good thing. It keeps you alive, it helps you recognize danger in your environment. But if you're able to do that thing, you get the courage to do that thing again after you do that thing for the first time. And this is like such a life hack. It sounds so simple, but if more people would understand that, hey, I recognize there's fear here. I'm very scared about doing that thing that's out of my comfort zone. The whole point of life is to get you out of your comfort zone. And whether you willingly put yourself out there or whether you do this at a totally different point, you have to understand that fear is designed to keep you into your comfort zone. And when you stay in your comfort zone for too long, you become very, very hardened. You become very hardened to wanting to leave that comfort zone. You become very used to that. And anything that is outside of that, you will inherently start to view as negative or dangerous or not good for you. And that is the danger of life. That means that you are now dying because your perspective is not growing. Your perception is the same as it's always been. And these are things that will kill you and make you dumb and make you weak. And the whole point of life is that it will forcibly push you outside of that comfort zone, whether you want to or not, whether you like it or not. It will bring danger and suffering and all of these terrible things to your life. But that is for you to grow. That is for you to experience things. And again, you get courage after you do that thing that you're scared of. So go ask that girl out, go ask that person out, go ask for that raise, go run a marathon, go jump out of a plane, go do things that absolutely terrify you because until you're outside of your comfort zone, you're not ever really going to know if you can swim or not. That's the whole point of life. You never lose, you either win or you learn. And fear is part of that thing, but if you feel fear, I want you to go and do that thing anyway. And then I want you to get the courage after. And then you feel fear for another thing. I want you to go and do that thing. Obviously, make good decisions, be a good dude, be a good person. But when you feel fear, inevitably, I want you to understand that that means you're going in the right direction. That means that you're seeking growth. That means that you're coming up upon the edge of your comfort zone. And now the thing that you're looking at or the thing that other people are asking you to do, as long as it's safe and morally right, you should go and do that thing. Does that make sense? I really don't have much to say other than that, but fear is a good thing. You don't need to overcome fear. You need to gain courage. Overcoming fear and gaining courage should be synonymous with each other. Go sign up for that CrossFit competition. Go again, run that marathon, adopt that dog, go tell that person how you really feel about them. What do you have to lose? You get a no? Cool. Now you know what's not for you, right? Life should be inherently easy. It shouldn't be difficult. And if you shy away from fear, life will shy away from you. Okay, that's it. I've just beat that horse to death multiple times. Um, all right, let's go to the third question here. Do you ever feel that you don't know enough? And what would you tell someone who came to you with this feeling? Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. I have dozens of books on my bookcases that I have never read. And the more that I learn, the more that I see, the more that I learn, I am 110% convinced that I will never learn it all. I will never learn it all. Even if I spent the rest of my life reading every single book on the planet, I wouldn't even touch a drop of what is out there in the ocean of knowledge. So how do you deal with that? Well, I don't. And life is short, but life is also very sweet. It's a very good thing. So I'm grateful for the things that I learn, and I try not to overburden myself. I try to find a steady burn pace for myself. So even if I spend all day reading, one day a week, or even if I spent 3 hours a day reading, sure, I would be learning a lot, but what is sustainable for me in my life at this point? What element of incorporating new knowledge into my life would be a value added instead of a value taken away? What is the trade-off value for me continuing to acquire knowledge? I 110% agree that the right people, the right books, the right mentors, the right job, the right opportunities come to us at the right time in life and no sooner. Oftentimes, what we want and the timelines that we want it are not well dictated from what we're able to experience. I can't force something to happen. I can't force the right person to come into my life. I can't force the next client into my life, but I can create surroundings that are suitable for those things to enter my life at the right time. And I view knowledge as the same way. If you are not adding knowledge into your brain, like your brain has an insane amount of memory and like potential terabytes. I looked this up one time, but your brain has so many bytes of memory available to it that you could essentially kind of read a book a day for the rest of your life and still not even get close to filling it up. Now, if humans only use 5 to 10% of our brain, who really knows if we can even fathom just how much our brains are capable of? But I try to add little bits of knowledge into my life every single day, whether that's something for my profession, whether that's something for my personal career. I always kind of take what's out there, and then the right things will kind of kick up at the right time. Like little bits of information will always come to me, and I'm able to acquire those things and employ them correctly. And the military has a great methodology for teaching. It's called see one, do one, teach one. And when I read a book or I watch a piece of content, I see it and then I try to do it and then I try to teach it to reaffirm that knowledge. And that's where my coaching and consulting business really comes in. Is I see these things and I do these things, and then when I try to teach them to others, that's affirming my knowledge of that as well. So hopefully this makes sense. I really think that, again, if you suffer from, oh my God, there's so much knowledge out there, and how am I ever going to acquire all of this or learn all of this? You don't have to. Don't look at it as a point of failure or a lack of abundance. Oh my God, there's so much information and I'm so dumb. I'm never going to learn it all. Jordan B. Peterson started somewhere and he's one of the smartest guys on the planet. Like, take a little bit of information, learn it, employ it, share those ideas with others, right? You want the ideas and the things that you're bringing to your life to mature and grow, right? You're not just stacking information from books to hopefully never use it, but you're trying to germinate your mind, you germinate your life with all these different books and ideas, right? I'm looking at a book called Awareness and Seven Habits of Highly Effective Families, and then book on flow, the tipping point, asking and is given, why the universe is the way that it is, a purpose-driven life, the daily stoic, the exemplary husband, right? The serious mystery, skin in the game, the choice, books about war. Like, I'm trying to germinate my life with all these different concepts, but me reading them and me picking them up at the right time, it will be the right time. You know what I mean? So trust your intuition, trust your awareness, trust the content that's being brought to you is the right thing. And if you don't like the content that's being brought to you on social media, you can edit that. You can unfollow. You can say you're not interested. Or you can stop engaging with that stuff. You can stop watching it. Okay. So remember, the tools are always in your hands. Your job is to continue learning and to employ that knowledge tactfully at the right time in your life and to mature and grow those ideas as you possibly can as well. Okay. That's all I have for you guys today for Three Questions Podcast, episode number 76. I really appreciate you guys listening. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, please like, please comment with any questions. And then if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere else, please leave a review. Please also subscribe and submit questions via DM. I will talk about anything relating to personal or professional conspiracy theories, weather, and if you'd like to be a guest, please also come on, right? I would love to get your expertise. I would love to get your insight. I would love to get your 2 cents on how and why things are the way that they are, and to share your expertise and connect you to a wider audience as well. So thank you very much. My name is Cam. This has been Three Questions Podcast, episode number 76, and I will see you soon.